would be my fault. Sorry for the delay, everybody. Amy doesn't know what she's doing. Well, I've officially just fired myself as host and producer of the weekly live show with the Burnett's. Welcome to Wednesday, and Amy's got it together. So we have a fun topic today, actually. It's great to have both Matt and Marty back together. Good to see you guys today. My apologies.
Hey, how are you?
Some days, I guess. But we have a fun topic. So I think my brain was spinning on talking about this, and I completely forgot that I had the controls in my hand. We're going to talk about downsizing today. And I was just mentioning you both. I have friends of ours who just literally did a major downsize. And when I say major, I mean from a mansion to a very small little place. So I know that you've worked with a lot of downsizing buyers. This can be emotional, difficult, and probably a lot of things to think about. Let's start that discussion.
Yeah, Amy, it's a hot topic, and we do work with a lot of downsizers. I don't know. A lot of it is emotional. I think you hit it. It is, people don't like change. I mean, I'm a weirdo. I love change, but people don't like change. And from what I understand, the older we get, the less we like change. And so a lot of times when people are downsizing, there's so many things going on in their life. It's either they're empty nesting, kids have moved out, maybe it's college, maybe it's, weddings. There's all these emotions,
right?
And that's tough. And then you couple that with, the whole idea of change, and then moving is just stressful. It just is.
Yeah.
It's a lot for people. And I think that's why downsizing is so tough. Initially, it's because you have so many things going, the emotions and the change and the move, all of that together. I think is just really tough.
Definitely. Yeah, especially for older and retired couples, like you're saying, maybe now they're retired, they've slowed down, and you're letting go of those emotions that go with it. I love how you said that. Sorry, Matt, please continue.
No, I was just going to say, a lot of people, they love the idea of the downsizing, but then they start to look at it and, it's can be overwhelming. A lot of stuff we build is townhomes and things like that. So they're, 1,500 to 2,100 square feet. And so a lot of our buyers are coming in, looking at it, and they're moving out of their larger single family house. So they're looking for, where are we going to store this? Where are we going to store that? There's only so much storage we can put in something that size. And so they have to, everybody has to get creative as to, like, these things have to go. There's no room for that anymore.
Right. Let's talk about the art of letting go. I'm sure that's probably one of the number one things you're going to share. How do you advise clients to say, you got to let it go? You got to let it go.
Well, that is tough, because I have worked with downsizers before that want to move their 5,000 square foot house into, 2,000 square feet, but they don't want to get rid of anything. And, when you're looking for a 2,000 square foot property and you have a dining table that seats 12, 14 people because you do it at Christmas, it's emotional. Twice a year, Christmas and Easter, everyone comes over and they sit at this table. So what you're telling me is you want a dining room with a bedroom and kitchen off the side and one bathroom.
Hey.
It's tough to say, those big items are not going to fit in the smaller house. So I think that a lot of people need to wrap their head around the downsize before they start into it and realize that those items are not going to go with them. So what I've seen a lot of people do is they'll rehome them, talk to daughters, sons, nieces, nephews, and see if they can rehome those items, those really special ones. And then a lot of stuff just got to be sold. I mean, when you're space planning your, gigantic sectional with, the kick out things that are so comfortable and amazing, they're not going to fit in the new space, that come out of the media room from the old, 5, 6, 7,000 square foot house. So it is, I think, starting early, prepping and getting rid of giving things away to people that this is going to be my daughter's one day, or this is going to be my son's one day, or my granddaughter's. Go ahead and give those things to them. Watch them enjoy them while you're still here. You don't have to wait till you die for them to take those items. So I think it's a pre-planning, wrapping your head around what's going to happen, and then, having it. I think the more that you can do on your own time is better than packing the moving truck, getting it all over there and realizing, Oh,
You
wow.
can't walk in the house.
And I know that happens. It happens all the time. The truck's never big enough, and then you get it over there, and ultimately people move things that they have to get rid of.
Right.
So it's a lot easier to do that on the front end, getting rid of those things.
Why,
And
yeah,
then,
why pay to move it twice?
exactly. But also, I think that having things measured out and planned out, and knowing that as you get, I'm getting older as well, and I don't love to physically move things. So to have stuff delivered and installed for you is kind of amazing.
And you can pick new stuff. You can pick a new, smaller couch that fits your needs in the new place and leave all that other stuff from before and have fresh and new.
Exactly. And a lot of times what we've done is we have sold our house, and then depending on how it's decorated, if it fits with, the house, or it's still relevant, as far as like not being too outdated. A lot of times the people buying your current house might have interest in buying some of the furniture pieces, especially if they were specifically purchased for that house. So what Matt and I do when we move, and granted, we don't have any antiques or anything that's really we're emotionally attached to, but we try to sell what we can out of the house to the new owner. And then what doesn't, we sell out. And then there's a handful of pieces that we know will go in the new place. Sometimes we don't even know what the new place is. So, I think it's just really detaching from the things. And then organization of your memories. Like, understanding that it's okay that if you want to keep something, but it won't really go in the new house, but you don't want to throw it away, finding an organizational system that will work and allow you to keep those things.
And might be a great time to donate items. There's so many wonderful organizations that are housing places for veterans or for single moms in need. Some of these pieces now you can say, wow, they really can be repurposed and can go to someone that really needs them. And you're right, maybe the home theater stays in that house and the new buyers will want it because the home theater belongs there.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we had one person say at one point, they didn't actually buy the house, but they said, we want everything except your toothbrush and your clothes. We'll take it the rest of it.
Really glad they didn't want your toothbrush.
Yeah, that would be kind of weird.
But you're right. That does make all the difference, and being open to realizing that's a possibility, but planning ahead regardless, because it's not going to fit. What about just even helping somebody understand the difference of square footage? If you've got let's say there's a couple that's lived in 4,000 square feet for the last 25, 30 years, how do you explain to them what 1,500 square feet is really going to feel like?
I think it's important to figure out what are the main spaces they're living in the house. Because if you've got a big house and you're empty nesting, you're not using all that space anymore. So what I find people doing, they don't think about the spaces and talk about the spaces out loud that they actually are using now and how their life has changed. And I'll inevitably see an empty nester go in a house and go, God, these spare bedrooms are tiny. Well, last time I checked, nobody else was in those spare bedrooms. And that's one thing, rooms you said you never went in. So who cares? You've got to figure out the places where you can give that square footage up. And so if you have guests that come, grandkids that come a couple times a year, they don't hopefully they don't stay long enough to need a dresser, chest of drawers and things like that. Just a place for somebody to plop a suitcase and hang up a few clothes, have a place to sleep, coming to visit. So those 6-piece bedroom suites don't have to go into the new house. All you need is big enough for a queen size bed and a couple of nightstands and a nice closet. So I think it's wrapping your head around the spaces that you actually can give up. Or,
now because if the cost of living has gone down, you've changed your overhead, you can just afford to get them a hotel room for a couple days. My husband and I say that someday when we downsize, there will be no spare bedroom for the 6 kids.
There you go. Yeah. Come on, visit, but then leave after dinner.
Yes.
And I think another thing for people, if they have not been retired or empty nested very long, they may not realize what life looks like now. With, if you had, if you're a family of 5 or a family of 6, and the kids are back to back moving out, but still coming back and forth college and all that, and then all of a sudden everybody's gone, and you haven't lived in that environment for very long, you may not know yet what that looks like. All the bikes and the kayaks and things, are you guys still going to use those, or those things that the kids used and now they're gone, you don't need them anymore? So talking about storage, talking about storage, one thing my mom did to me is she started giving us our boxes of junk, our totes.
Yep.
It's yours.
You have a house now. You need to store it.
Throw it away, keep it, run through it, whatever you got to do, but it's not staying at my house. And so just making us take those things back. And believe me, I avoided that like the plague.
Yep.
But every time she came over, she'd bring a tote. And sure enough, my 5, 6, 7 totes of junk, yearbooks and, things like that, ended up at her house. And ironically enough, I actually went through those tubs yesterday and got rid of old corsages from prom and notes from old boyfriend. It's funny.
Yes,
so I think giving those things away, like to their owners, and mom and dad stop thinking they have to house them. Because a lot of the stuff that they're housing is not theirs.
Right.
But they don't think about it. It's been there that long. When you've lived in a house for 30 years, the things that are stored there. So I think if you're thinking about downsizing, the first thing you do is start going through everything and figure out what can be rehomed.
Right. That is brilliant. My mom did the same thing. My parents don't have a scrap of anything from me at their house. Haven't for years. I'm happy they still have a photo of me somewhere on the wall. So there is no resemblance. They raised kids in their home for the last 20 years, and they're in their 80s now. But they did that same thing, and it made complete sense. And I think that really can help. So they do have their downsize. They downsized years ago when Dad retired, and they have the things that they want to have, and it has made for a happy retirement.
That's awesome.
Oh, any last advice? Any what not to do as well, besides hanging on to the stuff? Anything else? We always talk about planning ahead here because planning is key for everything. But any last advice you could give to those future downsizers?
The hardest part is just getting rid of it. But once you get rid of it, you don't think about it again. That's the one thing I can think of. But
yeah, the whole minimalistic way of life is a thing right now, and people are realizing they don't need all the stuff, and that it's more about having the freedom and the time and the space to spend with your loved ones. And so I think it's just, and I think we all have this challenge of realizing that a home or a house is just a house. It's a material possession. The home, what makes it the home is the people that come to see you and visit you, and the things that happen inside that place is what makes it a home. So I think a lot of times we get really attached to things, and I think the important part is to realize that no matter where you move or wherever you go, the things aren't going to matter. The memories come with you, and the people that love you are going to come there just like they came to the old place. So I think it is really wrapping your head around. It's a new phase. It's a new chapter, and realizing that life is in chapters. And when that new chapter occurs, embrace it, be excited about it, and know that new chapter means new exciting things, new traditions, new memories. So I think that's the big thing, is just realizing that a house and the stuff it's replaceable.
Completely. Such great advice. And thankfully, you both are a long ways away from the downsizing phase. You still have, kids of all ages at home, and you're still in the busy, hectic, wonderful time in life where you get to be a part of every bit of that. And so you guys get to enjoy, but you will experience this. And to close it out, I was talking with a dear friend of ours, 83 years old, just did the downsize from a very large home down to a small one. And I said, "How are you?" He said, "If I could give any advice, don't wait till you're 83. This was a mistake." So I think
great advice.
Yes, it was really, I saw in his eyes, why did we wait this long to do this? And how
well, that's funny
to go through those items at this stage in life.
Well, that's funny you should say that, because I have had conversations with some of my clients that are very young making these decisions. And it's exactly what they said. We want to make these decisions for ourselves while we still can, because if we wait too long, then our children are making these decisions for us, and their motives may be different from ours.
Yes, completely. I'm telling you, Brad and I will be
that's great advice.
Brad and I will be in a high-rise downtown San Diego in 5 years. 1 bedroom. That's it.
There you go.
Those kids aren't going through your stuff and saying what stays and what goes.
Exactly. Oh, it was really good advice. And our hearts go out to all those downsizers. It is an emotional thing, but it's worth it. And you're going to simplify your life and have those retirement years that you've always dreamed of. Matt, Marty, you guys have a fantastic week. Thank you again.
Thanks.